Hello all, welcome to the live session of Narayana IAS Academy. So the topic that we will be discussing today for this particular live session is how India has actually made baby steps, or how India has actually been progressing with respect to the Sustainable Development Goals or the Agenda of 2030. So this has also been complemented or supplemented by the NITI Aayog report, where it actually shows the progress of each and every state and UT in India, how they have actually been performing on different parameters. Okay, so here the news article from The Hindu actually discusses about India shows good progress on SDGs, NITI Aayog report. So our takeaway for the examination is to know each and every sustainable development goal by heart, because it is important for us to substantiate our answer with these kind of buzzwords for the mains answer, for the mains of course, and also for a few of the questions in your prelims examination. So now let us actually understand the Sustainable Development Goals we will be discussing, as well as the NITI Aayog report's key finding on the performance of different states as well as UTs in India. And of course, we need to understand the concept of sustainable development. And this particular topic can be mapped to the current events of national and international importance for your prelims examination, and for your mains it can be mapped to GS paper 3, economic growth as well as development and inclusive growth. Okay. So now, any topic that we will be discussing, first we will be looking into the relevance of the topic with that of the UPSC exam. Next one is the syllabus that we actually map it to, and next one is the previous year question. So if you see, UPSC in the year 2018 has actually asked a question, the mains examination, with respect to access to affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy is the sine qua non to achieve the sustainable development goals. Comment on the progress made in India or made by India in this particular regard. So here you need to know what is that sustainable development goal, which is which is actually corresponding to this affordable, reliable and sustainable modern energy, and what are the steps, or where India has actually progressed so far with since the adoption of SDG till now, whether it will be able to achieve or not, what are the challenges that actually India face, as well as what are the efforts that have been taken by the government. So this is what is important for us to understand. Now let us move into the particular article that we've actually taken up for our discussion. It actually talks about NITI Aayog, the think tank that has actually released the latest SDG India Index 2023-24. Here what is important is, apart from this SDG, it is also important to understand about this index, the methodology or the parameters that it actually takes into consideration, whether it uses the metric 0 to 100, what does 0 signify, what does 100 signify, and how far India has actually traversed its path in different fields like education, gender equality, inequality, etc. And also we'll look into what are the categories where the states and the UTs are actually categorized, like aspirational, aspirants, or the top performers, or the achievers, etc. Okay. So moving forward, now let us understand what are SDGs. So SDGs are nothing but these are 17 interconnected global goals. Okay. So each goal is connected to another. For example, if I am talking about goal number 1, poverty, ultimately that is, automatically by default it is actually corresponding or interconnected to goal number 2, that is no hunger. And when there is no hunger, obviously there is actually going to be improved health, as well as quality of life. So that is how we will actually see. So it is a set of 17 interconnected global goals that have been adopted by the UN member states in the year 2015 as part of their agenda for achieving sustainable development, that is slow and paced up development by the year 2030. Okay. So what do these goals actually aim at? Aim at is very important. They actually aim at addressing various global challenges that might be poverty, that might be climate action, inequality, environmental degradation, etc. So you can see poverty, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation and peace, in order to achieve a better and sustainable future for all. Here one way that I actually incorporate to understand or cram up these 17 SDGs are, for the first SDG, obviously you need to remember it as poverty. So when there is actually no poverty, there will be no hunger. So that is what SDG 2 says, it is actually no hunger. Number 3 is ultimately when there is no hunger, you will actually have your good health and well-being because you actually have good food and other things. So you have good health and well-being. And number 4 is when the basic needs of food and hunger are actually met, what happens? Ultimately, you will actually channelize your efforts into acquiring quality education. So fourth SDG is your quality education, and when you are educated, ultimately you actually you are more in terms with that of gender equality. So here we are actually done with memorizing the first 5 SDGs. Now remaining is 12 of them. Okay. So when you know about, when you have quality education as well as you know about gender equality, you actually focus on 2-3 things. Okay. This is how I personally memorize the SDGs. What are the 2-3 things that when I have education I focus on? I will see if my surrounding has good sanitation. That is SDG number 6 is sanitation. I've actually built up a story around it. And number 7 is I actually see whether I have clean energy around me. Of course, yes, I do. And when I am really a responsible citizen like this, then what happens? I would actually be placed in decent work. And when the work is there, it actually signifies what kind of industry I come from or the economic growth that this industry gives. Okay, so 9. And the 10 is when all of us are actually involved over here, irrespective of our gender, there is reduced inequality. So this is actually, now we are done with 10 SDGs. Okay. So here 5 actually goes with these, and it's easier to remember. 5th one is gender equality and 10th one is reduced inequality. Now 13, 14, 15 becomes very easy for us to remember. 13 is actually your climate action. So once you talk about climate and environment, then 14 and 15 becomes very easy. 14 is actually life underwater. So this is life underwater, and 15 is life on land. And finally, to achieve all this, we actually need peace, we need justice and associated institutions in order to, formulate, frameworks for this. So 16, you have peace and justice and strong institutions for this. And finally, there has to be enough partnership for achieving this goal by 2030. So here we are actually done with all the 17 SDGs. Okay. So here in each of the parameter, it is important for us to understand how India has actually performed over the years. What these SDGs itself actually become, good notes for you. You can say, in order to end hunger, what are the initiatives taken by the Indian government? How far we've actually progressed? Who are the beneficiaries who can avail it, etc. Now, moving forward, let us understand about this particular SDG India Index. Okay. So this particular index was actually launched in the year 2018 by NITI Aayog. This is actually a think tank. The objective of it is to track the progress of India's states as well as union territories towards achieving these sustainable development goals by 2030. Okay. It is developed by not solely by NITI Aayog but also in collaboration with that of MOSPI, that is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, and United Nations as well as the Global Green Growth Institute. This is very, very important. Now, what is the methodology that is actually used by the index to categorize the states and how does it actually rank? Let's see. Here, the SDG India Index evaluates each state and union territory based on 16 SDGs. Very, very important. It's not based on all 17. It is 16 and 113 indicators scoring from 0 to 100, which means 0 is you have not achieved anything, 100 is you have actually achieved everything. Okay, so that shows full achievement. So a score of 100 indicates full achievement of the 2013 target, 2030 targets, and also states and UTs are categorized into 4. First is aspirant, when your score is actually ranging between 0 to 49. Next is performer, when it is between 50 to 64. Next is front runner, when it is 65 to 99, where India currently is actually striding to. And also finally is the achiever, when you actually have a score of 100. Now we've seen what are SDGs, why is it actually important. Next, we've actually seen what is this particular SDG India Index. Now moving on to what have been the key highlights or the observations that have been made by the SDG India Index 2023-2024. It has noted that there has been an overall significant improvement in many of the SDGs or the targets. Okay. So the composite score, the overall score of India has improved from 57 to 66, and then now it is 71. It was 57 in 2018, 66 in 2021, and 2-3 years down the line it is 71. There have been significant advancement in few of the goals, like number 1, where there is no poverty, number 8, decent work and economic growth, 13, climate action, and now we are actually in the front runner category because we actually have a score between 65 to 99. Among these, here among these, if you see goal number 13, which is climate action, this has actually shown a substantial improvement, and followed by that is no poverty, because of the enough the climate related and the climate resilient actions that the government has taken, and also different schemes like PDS, etc., in order to reduce poverty. Okay, so here the scores are here. Now moving on, let us see what have been the contributing factors. As I told you, there are a number of government policies and initiatives that are actually required in shaping India to actually achieve these SDGs, right? So here the contributing factors is because of the government initiatives, especially in very important sectors, crucial sectors like food and nutrition. It can be nutritional security, it is health, education, electrification, sanitation, then clean cooking by this Ujjwala Yojana, housing by Awas Yojana, etc. Here if you see, through Awas Yojana, there were construction of over 4 crore houses. And for sanitation, there is actually 11 crore toilets and 2.23 lakh community sanitary complexes have been constructed. Then PM Ujjwala Yojana actually had provided around 10 crore LPG connections, and Jal Jeevan Mission provided tap water connection. Next, if you see Ayushman Bharat, it actually through this Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, it has actually benefited around 30 crore people. And under the National Food Security Scheme and schemes like the PDS, which actually gives subsidized food grains to the people, that has benefited around 80 crore people, and also direct benefit transfer. Now, if you actually see at this particular infographic, you can see how India has actually progressed, okay, from the score of 57 to currently the front runner with a score of 71. Now moving forward, you can see the goal-wise performance also. So as we told, this red color actually signifies the aspirant stage where the score actually lies for gender equality over here. It is exactly 49 over here. And then we've been a performer with a score of 50 to 64 in different sectors like hunger, as well as industry, innovation, as well as infrastructure. And if you see the front runner, we are actually there in ending poverty, good health and welfare, clean water, then affordable energy, then life on land, underwater, climate action, etc. Okay. Now moving forward, let us quickly run through what are the current status of development for the states as well as the union territories. So overall performance, if you see, the scores for states actually ranged from 57 to 79 in 2023-2024. This has actually shown improvement. Just know the trends because particular scores are actually not very important, and UTs have also actually improved. Okay, and if you see which are the top performing states, this is very important. Uttarakhand, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Goa, and Himachal Pradesh, they actually performed well as states. And in UTs, Chandigarh, Jammu Kashmir, Puducherry, Andaman and Nicobar, as well as Delhi have become top 5 performers among UTs. And if you see, the lagging states have been Bihar, Jharkhand, Nagaland, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, etc. Now moving forward, let us actually see whether there is an increased contribution in the front runner among the states and UTs. Front runner status have actually been given to 32 states or UTs. They scored between 65 and 99. This has been up from 22 in the previous edition. And also there are new front runners, that is 10 new states and UTs have actually joined this club, with states like Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Odisha, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Daman and Diu, then Dadra and Nagar Haveli, etc. So with this, we've actually come to the end of our live session on this SDG development goal, that is the sustainable development goals, as well as the performance and the initiatives that India has actually been taking in order to achieve these goals by 2030. So for more such videos, for more such important current affairs as well as regular updates, please do like, share and subscribe to Narayana IAS Academy YouTube channel. Thank you.